guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. This is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. You know, a lot of times when young ladies step up in their world and they say, you know what, I don't want to get married at a young age. I want to go to college. I want to get my education in. I want to live my best life, figure out who I am, where I'm going, and I'll just stay single for now, or I'll figure out what I want to do, and I'll go on later. You know, I'll maybe get married later or start my relationships later. Oftentimes they're cheered on. They say, hey, you know, you go and find out who you are and where you're going in life and so on and so forth. And is, you know, if you don't go off the rails in college like a lot of people do, both guys and girls usually with imbibing a little too much and getting yourselves into a little bit of trouble, then it's not necessarily a bad thing to figure out who you are and where you're going. But when young men say, you know something, I don't think marriage is right for me. I don't think this path is what suits me. A lot of times that they're told they need to man up, they need to, provide for a family, or they're shamed and they're saying, hey, who hurt you? Or are you, you're not growing up, you're not becoming a mature adult. Well, marriage for men does not mean that, that's what makes you mature. That's what makes you an adult. I have a video here from PragerU University, and they talk about, let me record this, and then we'll talk about it as you're looking at it. Here's this video. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. Here's the title of it. It's called, Be a Man, Get Married. So the implication is that you're not a man unless you get married. Now, it has 10,000 thumbs up and 24,000 thumbs down. PragerU usually gets a lot of good traction on their videos because most of the people that watch Prager University are conservative. And they, as such, this isn't a channel that and also the whole channel has been demonetized, so you don't see this in normal news feeds. You have to look for Prager University's videos. So most of the people that watch them agree with them. It'd be the same as if I came on here and said something that was very against, what you guys normally would think I would. And it says here in their little tag underneath it, is bachelor life really the good life? Playing the field, traveling the world, and focusing on career sounds better than tying the knot. Yes, it does. But is it possible that married men have more close bedroom relations and make more money than their single counterparts? Brad Wilcox, a sociologist at the University of Virginia, explains, yes, I guess. He just explains. And then they give all their links here. Well, we're gonna watch this video, and then I'm going to discuss why they're wrong. That to be a man, you don't need to be married. To be a man, you need to be a man. This instantly, just from the title alone, makes it sound like your only worth is based upon the family and blah, blah, blah. Now, something I want you, I've watched this, there's a running theme in this video, and I want you to see if you can pick out what it is. Because what I talk about on my channel is how you're going to be happy, how you're going to find the best life that's for you, how to find your way in the world, a little bit of advice on how to find some stoicism and to understand the world around you. Let's listen to what Prager University's big theme is. And again, we're looking at the overall theme for happiness for a man. Let's watch. Oh, and let me interrupt one more time. I do have to break this up into lots of little chunks, or then I get hit for copying stuff. So understand if I jump in a little bit too much and it gets annoying, I have to.
Marriage might have been fine for your parents or grandparents, but of what value is it today? Isn't it, as more and more young people seem to be saying, just a piece of paper? Well, it turns out that piece of paper might be the most valuable thing you will ever own. Okay, that valuable piece of paper, that marriage certificate, is the most valuable thing you'll own. I'm going to change that. It's the most valuable thing that the wife owns. Here's why. If you get married and she says, now the reverse is true too. Okay, so let's not just say that I'm going one direction, but follow me through this. If you say I do and she puts on 100 pounds, and you're not attracted to somebody that weighs more, can you just leave? No. But neither can she.
It's a two-way street here. If the husband, doesn't get a job and is laying around and eats and becomes a big guy and whatever, and then she's not into that, same thing. But now you're kind of stuck together. But it's worse for the man, and I will explain. Let's say that the wife decides she wants to have kids, stay-at-home mom, and the guy loses his job and doesn't want to go get another job and says, well, we'll just get money from the state. The woman says, no, we need more money for our children. The woman can't leave. You see, for both people, it binds you together legally. The reason why this hurts men so much more than women is when you go and stand in front of the judge and explain your situation, the woman is given custody of the children much, much more, 85% of the time. 60 to 70% of the divorces are initiated by women. Now, there's an article I'm going to read that's written by this guy because I don't know if any of you have seen him, but there's a TFM is the initials. It's a YouTuber. His name is Turd Flinging Monkey that actually countered this man's views. So this is going to be a little bit longer, but it's really, really worth it because this is an incredible view on how society sees married men. But let's keep going.
Take the case of Doug Talby. At age 18, Talby worked a minimum wage job operating a press at a factory in Indiana and lived in his parents' basement. I didn't have a care in the world, Talby says. I didn't even have any bills. But after marrying at 19 and having kids, Talby's perspective changed. I had to step up and think about others and start taking care of them.
Okay, so being a young man living with your parents and he didn't have a care in the world, well, he was 19 years old. And obviously he did not go to college if he's living at home at 19 and he's working at a mill. So he's just a young man getting started. How much pressure is it to say you need to get out of the basement, you need to do this, you need to become a guy and get out in the world? Well, give the guy a little bit of time here. He's 19 years old. That means he either just has or maybe a year ago graduated high school. A lot of people don't know what they want to do yet, but again, pressure. So he gets married, and now he says that he has to step up, he has to think about others and start taking care of them. When has this young man ever taken care of himself? When has this young man ever had time to think about himself? Again, he just graduated high school. He doesn't know where he's going or what he's doing yet, but instantly, because he's taken on this responsibility, he doesn't even know what's going to make him happy. But now he's got to give that all up and start taking care of the family.
Talby quit his factory job and joined the Army, where he made significantly more money and received housing and health care paid for by the military. Whenever he saw a chance at promotion, he pursued it. It meant more money and benefits for himself and his family.
More money, more benefits for himself and his family. Now, let's say I make, I'm going to just pick very round numbers, okay? So let's say I make $50,000 a year, just for me. It's all mine. I do whatever I want with it. Let's say I get a raise. I get married and I get a raise to $75,000, and I have a kid. Let's say just for the easy math, I'm not saying that this is the way that the costs actually go. Well, or better yet, let's say I make $66,000, from $50,000 to $66,000. But instead of $50,000 for me, I have $66,000 for three people. Now I really kind of only have $33,000 for myself. But let's be realistic. The wife and the kids come first. So really, it's more like maybe $55,000 for them and $11,000 for me. We know how this goes, right? If the family needs food, if the young boy or girl needs clothing for school, if the wife needs something, we're going to sacrifice, because that's what men do, and good men do this. And when I was married, I made lots of sacrifices, and I won't get into all those. But in the end, all my sacrifices came to naught, because, well, I'm leaving. Bye. All right, let's keep watching.
Recently, in a bid to further boost his family's income, he left the Army to work as a finance manager at a car dealership. He's now pulling in six figures.
Here's his discovery. Okay, I got married. Now I have to make more money to support the family. How many times have they talked about his happiness, about his discovering the world, discovering who he is? What I still have really to hear any benefits for him other than he's making more money, which again would be shared amongst the family.
Marriage has a transformative effect on the behavior, emotional health, and financial well-being of adults, especially men. Men who get married work harder.
I'm still not hearing a benefit here.
And more strategically. and earn more money than their single peers from similar backgrounds. Marriage also transforms men's social world. They spend
Okay, so this is an important part, because when I saw this, I was like, well, you are now telling me why not to get married. So what you've said so far is money, and if a guy gets money, he works harder, and he works more hours, and money, and money, and money, and money, and money. Well, if I am very cautious on my spending, if I'm careful with my money, here's the thing, and people don't understand this. Wow, Bob makes $100,000 a year, and he's got a new truck, and he's got a house, and he's got a family, and he's got this, and he's got this. Well, when you add up a mortgage of, again, I'm throwing out numbers here. I'm not saying this reflects any of your actual. Let's say a mortgage comes in at $1,500 a month. Let's say a new vehicle for you comes in at $500 a month. Actually, let's say a used vehicle for you comes in at $300 a month. The new vehicle for her comes in at $500 a month. All of a sudden, it's $2,300, $2,500 plus the kid's soccer practice and his clothing and the this and the that. Well, you can make $100,000 and have nothing left over. But if I make $30,000 a year and live in a school bus, and again, these are not reflective numbers, and live in a school bus that I'm making into a tiny cabin, and I have a little plot of land that I've purchased for, say, $10,000 or $15,000, I have zero bills. Food, I have solar bringing in my electricity, I have a little well to bring up my water, internet. I spend nothing. So even if I make $30,000 a year, if I spend $5,000 at the end of the year, I have $25,000 left over. The guy who makes $100,000 may have nothing left over. Again, it's not what you make, it's what you can do with what's left. So this guy that's making all this more money and working and, oh boy, this is great. How much does he really get to enjoy of it? And how much of his life is he given up? This is key. Listen to this.
From similar backgrounds. Marriage also transforms men's social world. They spend less time with friends and more time with family. They go to bars less and to church more. In the words of Nobel Prize-winning economist George Akerlof, men settle down when they get married. If they fail to get married, they fail to settle down.
Wow, that's deep level stuff. If you add blue to red, it makes purple. But if you fail to add blue, it's still red. Stunning. Nobel Prize-winning economist, deep thoughts. Such deep thoughts. Guys, here's the thing. Yeah, you're going to stop seeing your friends more. You're going to stop hanging out with your pals. Now, they say use here bar and church, which are two extremes. Like the bar is the bad place because he's drinking and cavorting with bad people. And the church is, good place. Well, let's narrow this down. You don't hang out with friends. You don't do the activities that maybe you want to do. And instead, you're a good provider and you're a good father and you're a good role model to your kids. That's not a bad thing. But what if it's not enough? We've always heard, hey, and I know this from firsthand, hey, man, you want to go out and do such and such or so-and-so? I think the wife and I were going to go to IKEA. Let me clear everything with her. Hey, you going to pick up the new PlayStation or whatever online, and maybe we can do some online gaming and stuff? Well, I got to ask the wife, the money, we were supposed to buy a new crib, or the financial decision of your money that you're apparently working so hard for is gone right out the window. So how much of that extra money is really yours? And again, they make it sound like the single man that is just enjoying himself is not a man because he's not providing. But let's continue on.
My own research bears out Akerlof's view. Married men work about 400 hours more per year than single men with equivalent backgrounds.
400 hours a year more. But this is good, guys. This is good. You're making more money. You're working more. You're not seeing your friends. Do you see how this actually tells me that I think I'm right and marriage is wrong? But the point is to be a man, make money, provide, work more, sacrifice more. But only that makes you a man.
There are at least 4 important reasons. 1, after marrying, men assume a new identity. Marriage is one of the last rites of passage into manhood remaining in our society.
Wow. The last rite of passage. You are not a man unless you've crossed this last rite of passage. Never mind that you may be successful, you may be intelligent. Nope, none of that counts. You have not gone into the last rite, which is, and look at this, you assume a new identity. Of course. You have to change. You can't be the casual, carefree, life-enjoying person that you were. You need to now spend your life working and bringing in income and providing for other people. Never mind who you were. This is who you need to become.
Married men are motivated to maximize their income. This means having a different attitude toward their job. They work more hours and make better work choices. Studies find that men increase their work hours after marrying and reduce their hours after divorcing. Sociologist Elizabeth Gorman concludes that married men are more likely to value higher paying jobs than their single peers.
Of course, because they need more money. They have to have more money. They have to find more money because she wants more. And I'm not saying that it's all the woman's fault. I'm not saying that, but as a guy, you have to be the provider for your family. It's expected of you socially, and if you don't, you're a loser, or she will leave you. You have to provide for your children, or else you're a deadbeat dad. So of course they're going to maximize their income. Of course they're going to work more. Of course they're going to seek higher paying jobs, because that's what the machine dictates. You can't go backwards on this treadmill. I'm doing a job I absolutely love now that makes 70 grand a year. I was making 100 grand a year at a job I was miserable. Women might say that's okay, but what's the truth of it? Hard to say, but let's keep going.
3, there is evidence that employers prefer and promote men who are married. Married men are often seen as more responsible and dedicated workers and are rewarded with more opportunities to advance.
That is from 1965. I don't know who said this, but it's not true anymore. As a matter of fact, a lot of people would prefer a single guy because he doesn't have to rush home. He doesn't have to go take care of the family. He doesn't have any home responsibilities. He can stay at work longer. Matter of fact, I got more promotions as a network engineer than any of my peers because I could go put butt in seat at 7 a.m. The boss would come through and see me at the desk working. Now, I might have only beat him there by 10 minutes, but I looked busy. I was busy. And he'd go home at night at, say, 5:30, and I was still at my desk. So as far as he knew, I was living there. Oh, well, married guy can't do that. Oh, I got the kids, I got this, So it's the opposite. I disagree with this.
4th and finally, married men benefit from the advice and encouragement of their wives, who have an obvious interest in their success. There is no better motivator than your spouse.
Shocking. Oh, honey, if you could only make more money, we could do this. We could take that vacation we always wanted. We could get that new SUV. Little Johnny can go to private school. More money, more money, more money, more money, more money. Of course they're going to encourage you to do better. Because when you do better and you bring in more money, she gets more money. It's a better life for her. Of course she's going to want you to do better.
The tragedy is that despite all the good news we keep learning about the benefits of marriage, the institution is in retreat. In 1960, 72% of all adults ages 18 and older were married. Today, it's 49%.
Again, there's nothing surprising here. If you showed this video to young men and said, hey, guess what? When you're 19, you won't be worried about your Xbox anymore. Playing with friends. When you hit 21, you won't be riding your motorcycle and going out to pubs with your buddies. You can settle down, and you can work more hours to make more money. You'll have more money, and you can spend that on a wife and children. And if things go bad, she'll take that from you, at least the majority of time in courts. She'll leave with that, and then she'll go find another man, and you will be 42 and left alone and looking back on your life, realizing you have done nothing you've ever wanted to do, and you've sacrificed for your family, and she left. Now, the divorce statistics are about 50% of the time most marriages dissolve. The reason why that stayed steady is because it was starting to trend up, but then men had stopped getting married as often, so less marriages mean less people were married, which means that even if more people got divorced, the percentage of overall people that were divorced went down. But divorces are up amongst married people. This is not a game that a man should and could win. You're being shamed into not doing it. You're being told here by these statistics that and this is somebody, remember, trying to convince you to get married. The statistics are showing you that you're going to work more. You're going to make more money, though. But she's going to keep pushing you to do better. And men are walking away from this. And as they show right here, even with all these wonderful benefits of you working more, men are walking away from it. Shocking.
Marriage is a clear path to a better life. It always has been. And now we have plenty of data to confirm it. But if you still don't believe me, just ask Doug Talby and millions like him.
All right, so the whole point here, and I actually have a part 2 to this. I wanted to get to the article that was written by this guy where a bachelor named, of all things, turd-flinging monkey, disagreed with him. And then he used TFM's disagreement as this is proof why I was right, when in actuality, it wasn't. I'm going to wrap this up here because I don't want this to go super long, but here's our summary. Number 1, you be a man, get married. You're not a man. You haven't crossed the final finish line into manhood until you're married. That is a shaming tactic, and that is not true. You can be a man and have never been married. You can be a productive member of society. You can be a good person. You can even donate your time to Big Brother, Habitat for Humanity, or other societal things that need a good man to help out. You can do that. It doesn't require society to tell you you're a good man. You don't need to chase the dollars, but you can as a single man. If you ask this Talbot guy, whoever he's talking about, hey, if you had chased after these, because he was 19, he had to get going. He had to get going because he had a family all of a sudden. But if he was single and maybe found this same lifestyle at 25, 26, he'd have the same income, but it'd be all for him. And the most important takeaway from this video, how many times did you hear happier, more fulfilled? None. It was all finance. It was all economics. It was all giving up your friends, being more mature, and you will have more money and be more economically stable for society. Whoop-de-friggin' do. Guys, if you'd like to support my work, links are below. Thank you for those that have. And the best way you can support me is like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm going to leave a part 2 to this video. It's not going to be named part 2, but it's going to be continuation, and it's going to be an article that this guy wrote about a guy like myself that disagreed with him, and how he says that men are angry if about this video and how that they have this discussion. But I'll put that in another video for you guys real soon. This is Better Bachelor. I'm Joker, guys. Remember, do not let society dictate to you what true happiness means for you.